In a world where the line between reality and fantasy fades away, where silence carries a secret, and every whisper tells a story. Welcome to The Whisper of the Narrator. Here, tales are not just told, they are lived. Souls are reborn through words of mystery and magic, where fear, passion, and destiny intertwine. Every story you hear here will awaken something within you. So listen closely. The whisper begins now. Are you ready to listen? Chapter 2. There are another 90 eggs just like this. Congratulations, host. You have successfully fused 1,080 hens. You have obtained a gold-tier magical beast, Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. Following the system notification, the huge ball of light in front of Watson shattered to reveal what happened inside. A hen that was more than a meter tall and covered in colorful feathers walked out. Each feather was bright and colorful, as if it was burning with flames, and there was a golden crown on its head. As soon as it took a step, a sweet fragrance wafted through the air, and Watson's entire body felt at ease after taking a whiff. The entire chicken farm seemed to be graced by the appearance of the colorful chicken. A Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken? Really? Watson blinked in disbelief. It had only been a few days since he transmigrated to this world, but he already understood a lot about that place. For example, there were warriors who mastered powerful combat aura, mages who can control magical elements, and powerful magical beasts living beyond the places where humans resided. Be it humans or magical beasts, all of them shared a tiered strength system. From the weakest to the strongest, they were iron, bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, starlight, and sovereign. The hens from before, including Watson, could not even be considered iron rank. They were just ordinary people and ordinary chickens. The Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken did not have much strength despite being a gold-level magical beast, but its invincible effect was enough to offset everything else. As if to prove his words, small glowing words floated above the head of the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. Subject to fuse, Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken, gold tier magical beast. Ability produces 100 eggs a day with an irresistible taste. Consuming one egg increases a person's lifespan by 1 year and raises one's strength by 100 caddies. Effects weaken after repeated consumption. The incident was a prime example of having a pie falling from the sky. Watson could not help but drool. Who would not want to live for a few more years? The eggs of the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken were even more exaggerated than the rumors suggested. As long as he continued to consume them, he could turn into Hercules within a few months. Being able to possess several hundred caddies worth of strength at the age of 10 was unimaginable, and even the weightlifting champions in his previous life paled in comparison. Aside from himself, his family's physical fitness could also be improved, while the extra eggs could be sold. The production of 100 eggs a day was lower than before, but the price became much higher. An ordinary hen egg was only worth 1 copper coin, while the eggs of the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken were worth 1 gold coin. 1 gold coin was equivalent to 100 silver coins, which was equivalent to 10,000 copper coins. Therefore, the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken did not lay eggs, but gold. Watson was so excited that he could not resist hugging the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken and take a bite out of it. Since you are the first pet to be fused and the hope of the entire family, I'll call you Emperor Cluck from now on, the king of the chickens, who made them a fortune every day. Cluck, cluck, cluck. Emperor Cluck spread its wings and raised its head to cry out twice. Its voice shook the ground slightly, like thunder on a sunny day. It then raised its butt, with 5 colored eggs flying out, one after another, before landing on the ground. They were 2 times bigger than an ordinary egg, and had mysteriously beautiful patterns all around. Its outer shell was also very hard, and rather than breaking upon impact, it made a metal clanging sound, like a work of art. Soon, eggs piled into a heap behind Emperor Cluck. There were exactly 100 of them. Once it was done, it shook its feathers and lay on the ground in a slightly dejected manner. Watson was stunned. He had seen hens lay eggs, but he had never seen a hen lay 100 eggs at once. He wondered how such a small body could contain that many eggs. He subconsciously picked one up and knocked it with his hand. The eggshell, which was unusually hard, became very fragile in his hand. In an instant, he cracked it open, and a somewhat dazzling golden yellow liquid began flowing out, ignoring the fact that it was a raw egg. Watson widened the crack, opened his mouth, and slurped in all that eggy liquid. It was cold to his mouth and had a sweet, indescribable, yet delicious taste. A warm feeling then manifested in his limbs and bones. The pores on his body opened, and a powerful force surged through his blood vessels. Watson gently rolled up his pants and looked at the calf muscles that were obviously thicker than before. He was so overjoyed that he was completely lost for words. Edward Gary got up from the bed. The chicken's sudden cry made him shiver in fear. What was that calling? Edward pushed away the blanket to reveal his hairy chest and looked out suspiciously from the 3rd-floor window as a down-and-out baron who was well known throughout the land. He was lamenting his sufferable life and lack of money as usual. He was already about to make another baby with his beloved wife Catherine, but was scared to death by that ear-piercing sound. Beside him, Catherine turned over and smiled lazily. Perhaps a magical beast has entered the village. Why don't we go out and take a look? Although she was in her late 20s, Catherine still retained her beauty. Her slightly curled, chestnut-colored hair rested on her shoulders, and there were almost no wrinkles on her smooth and clean face. Forget it. In this broken place where I live, there is no wheat in the fields and no fruit on the trees. How could it possibly attract any magical beasts? It must be some child shouting, "Let's continue." Edward laughed self-deprecatingly. Creating more children was just what he needed to turn things around. Although having a child would cost him a lot of money, the possibility remained that he could create a child with unparalleled talent or an amazing appearance that caught the eye of a certain noble. His reputation would soar to the sky if that happened. Just as Edward was about to withdraw into the blanket, he heard Watson shouting from outside. "Father! Mother! Look here! I've got the eggs of the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. We're rich." Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. The heat in Edward's heart was completely extinguished. An hour later, indeed, it does look like the eggs of the Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. Edward was dressed in a washed-out white robe and sat at the head of the dining table. Beside him was Catherine, who wore a long, coarse dress and held his hand. At this moment, the two of them were staring at a 5-colored egg placed in the middle of the table. Scarlet, who was out hunting, as well as Zeke and Zenoa, who went to exchange eggs for toys, had all rushed back. They sat beside Watson according to their age, other than their eldest brother and second sister, who were away from home all year round, as well as their 5th brother and 6th sister, who were at home, but basically did not leave their rooms. The entire family had already gathered there. "It's so beautiful. The design on this egg looks like it was painted with dye. Watson, where did you pick up this egg? The Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken is the rarest among all gold-tier magical beasts. Due to the difficulty in breeding and the low ability to produce eggs, as well as the fact that the eggs are loved by the great nobles, almost all of them have already been caught." Aside from Edward, even Scarlet, Zeke, and Zenoa could not help but gasp in awe at Watson's good fortune. The value of a single egg was equivalent to the value produced by all their hens in the past 10 days. Ahem. Edward was the first to react, clearing his throat before saying, "Watson, since you found this egg, you'll get half the profit, regardless of how much it's eventually sold for." "Father, I didn't bring this egg back to sell it. I brought it back for everyone to eat." Watson rejected him outright. "What a good child. I understand your pain, but how can we bear to eat such a precious egg?" "That's right, Watson. An egg can only be eaten once. If we were to exchange it for meat, it would be enough for us to eat for a few days." Scarlet followed Edward's advice. Although Zeke and Zenoa swallowed their saliva, they controlled themselves. As the youngest child in the family, Watson knew how to bring out good things to share, and it was embarrassing for his elder brothers and sisters to be greedy. "Father, brothers, and sister, you're all so kind. Do you think that there's only one egg from this Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken?" "You're wrong. There are more than 90 eggs just like this. I just didn't bring them because I was afraid of knocking them over." Noticing the shocked and flabbergasted faces of his family members, Watson cocked an eyebrow. "It's not just the eggs. I've also managed to get a Pentacolor Fragrant Chicken. It was wandering around our family's chicken farm. If you don't believe me, I'll bring you over to have a look right now. And so, the whisper fades, but the story never truly ends. Each tale hides within it a new beginning, perhaps even another life waiting to be told. You've been listening to The Whisper of the Narrator. If this journey touched your soul, don't let it end here. Subscribe, stay, and listen again. For the next whisper will be deeper, darker, and more beautiful.